For 50 years, he's been the global symbol of indestructible strength, a 7-time Mr. Olympia who sculpted his body into a living monument of human potential, an action hero who terminated cyborgs, battled predators, and saved humanity over and over again, a political powerhouse who governed the world's 5th largest economy. He is the Austrian Oak, the Terminator, the Governator. He is Arnold Schwarzenegger. To us, he's always seemed like more than a man, a force of nature, seemingly immune to the vulnerabilities that get the rest of us. We watched him lift impossible weights, defeat impossible villains, and achieve impossible dreams. He taught a generation that with relentless will, you can build any reality you want. But behind that iconic silhouette and confident smile, a secret battle has been raging his entire life. A fight not against some cinematic villain, but against a flaw written into his very DNA. Now, at 78 years old, the world's most famous action hero is reflecting on his most personal challenge yet. It's a battle that can't be won with muscle, and a fight that follows a shocking medical emergency that sent waves of concern across the globe. This isn't a movie script. This is the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger's recent pacemaker surgery, the culmination of a lifelong heart condition and the profoundly emotional journey that came with it. For decades, he was the indestructible force, a real-life superhero. But in March of 2024, at 76 years old, Arnold Schwarzenegger faced a battle he couldn't win with muscle alone, a battle against time, genetics, and his own mortality. It all came to a head in a quiet, sterile operating room, far from the roar of the crowd and the lights of Hollywood. And when it was over, he broke the news to the world with a line that was both chilling and perfectly, iconically, Arnold. This is the story of what really happened to Arnold, of the vulnerability hidden behind the veil of strength, and the emotional fight that followed his most recent medical emergency. It's a story of how the strongest man in the world learned to embrace being broken in order to become whole again. The news broke on March 25, 2024, not through a press release, but from the man himself. On his podcast, Arnold's Pump Club, a daily source of motivation for his massive following, Arnold chose to share something deeply personal. In his signature calm, direct voice, he laid out the facts. He had undergone a procedure at the renowned Cleveland Clinic to have a pacemaker implanted. For a man who built an empire on the image of physical perfection, it was a startling admission. A pacemaker is a small device that helps control the heart's rhythm when its own electrical system starts to fail. In essence, it's a tiny, life-sustaining machine. The irony wasn't lost on Arnold, who immediately leaned into the comparison with his most famous role. "I had surgery to become a little bit more of a machine," he said, a brilliant piece of framing that let him control the narrative with a mix of humor and casual acceptance. But beneath that calm delivery was a serious medical necessity. This wasn't some sudden event, but the next logical step in a long, carefully managed health journey. His recovery, however, was pure Arnold. He revealed that after having surgery on a Monday, he was back on his feet and at a major environmental event with his friend Jane Fonda by Friday of the same week. As he told his listeners, "Nobody would ever have thought I started the week with a surgery." The public reaction was immediate and immense. News outlets around the world picked up the story. But the feeling wasn't pity, it was admiration. Fans sent thousands of messages of support, not just for his recovery, but for his courage in speaking out. In a world where celebrities often hide their health struggles, Arnold chose transparency. He chose to turn a moment of vulnerability into a public lesson on resilience. He knew that by sharing his story, he could demystify the process for others facing similar fears. He directly addressed his audience, his village, as he calls them, saying, "I know a lot of you are probably dealing with your own health challenges, and I want you to know that you aren't alone. If you're putting something off out of fear, I hope I inspire you to listen to your doctors and take care of yourself. It was a powerful move that shifted the narrative from Arnold is sick to Arnold is teaching us how to face our fears. He was using his platform not just to inform, but to empower. So why did Arnold, a man who still trains daily and is in remarkable shape, suddenly need a pacemaker? The answer isn't a new disease, but the echoes of old battles. It's a direct consequence of the very surgeries that have kept him alive for decades. The root cause was arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat. For some time, Arnold's doctors had been monitoring his heart, which had become erratic due to scar tissue from his previous open-heart surgeries. Think of the heart's electrical system like wiring in a house. In a healthy heart, signals travel along precise pathways, telling the chambers when to pump in a steady rhythm. Surgery, while life-saving, creates scar tissue, which can't conduct electricity properly. Over time, this scarring on Arnold's heart began to disrupt those normal pathways, creating a short circuit. This wasn't just a minor issue. An irregular heartbeat can lead to dizziness, shortness of breath, and a serious drop in energy. Arnold admitted he'd been feeling the effects, struggling through long days at his Arnold Sports Festival events, feeling unusually drained. For a man defined by boundless energy, this was a huge red flag. His body was telling him the wiring needed a professional fix. His medical team at the Cleveland Clinic had seen this coming. They had advised him for years that a pacemaker would eventually be necessary. After his most recent checkups, the data was clear. The arrhythmia was getting worse, and with a new season of his Netflix series FUBAR on the horizon, the doctors gave him a clear directive. It was time. If he wanted to be healthy enough for the physically demanding role, he needed the pacemaker installed without delay. The decision was made with his trademark pragmatism. He scheduled the surgery. No drama, no hesitation. It was a problem that needed a solution. The machine, in a way, needed a new part to keep the whole system running. As he put it, "That's life with a genetic heart issue, but you won't hear me complaining." It was a powerful statement of acceptance, a recognition that even the strongest bodies need maintenance, and that true strength lies in confronting problems head-on. To really get the significance of this pacemaker, we have to go back, way back. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't born with a perfect heart. He was born with a ticking clock, a genetic defect that has shadowed his entire life. Arnold was born with a bicuspid aortic valve. A normal aortic valve has 3 flaps or leaflets that control blood flow from the heart. Arnold's only had 2. This condition runs in families, and in Arnold's family it was a deadly inheritance. Both his mother and his grandmother had the same defect, and it ultimately claimed their lives. His mother, he explained, refused the valve replacement surgery that could have saved her. That family history became a powerful motivator for Arnold, pushing him to be diligent and to embrace the medical innovations his mother and grandmother never had. In April 1997, at the height of his fame, Arnold underwent his first elective open-heart surgery. He chose a complex operation known as the Ross procedure, where his own pulmonary valve was moved to the aortic position and a donor valve was put in its place. He chose this risky path specifically because it would allow him to keep up his grueling training regimen, something a mechanical valve would have limited. He knew it wasn't a permanent fix. He was just buying time, maybe 15 to 20 years, before he'd need another operation. That clock ran out in March 2018. Arnold went in for what was supposed to be a less invasive procedure to replace the aging valve. But things went wrong. The procedure failed, and surgeons had to make a split-second decision to perform emergency open-heart surgery to save his life. He woke up with a massive incision and a breathing tube down his throat. A terrifying turn of events. But in true Arnold fashion, his first words upon waking were, "I'm back." The 2018 emergency had only replaced his pulmonary valve. In 2020, he returned to the Cleveland Clinic to finally replace his aortic valve. This time, things went smoothly. Again, he shared his recovery with the world, posting a thumbs-up photo from his hospital bed. This established a clear pattern. For Arnold, surgery wasn't something to hide in shame. It was another challenge to overcome and a chance to show what's possible with a positive mindset. Each operation, while saving his life, left its mark, layering scar tissue upon scar tissue and silently setting the stage for the pacemaker. Maybe the most compelling part of this story isn't the medical science, but the emotional evolution of the man himself. For decades, Arnold cultivated an image of stoic invincibility. It was a persona forged in the culture of his childhood. In a raw admission on his podcast, Arnold explained why sharing this was so tough, yet so necessary. "I have to tell you," he confessed, "just saying this to all of you goes against so much of my upbringing in Austria, where nobody, ever, talked about medical issues. Everything related to healthcare was kept to yourself." That one statement pulls back the curtain on the man behind the myth. It reveals a cultural programming that equates sharing vulnerability with weakness. You just didn't complain. You bore your burdens in silence. For years, he lived by that code. But something changed. He has made a conscious choice to defy that. Upbringing, realizing that true strength isn't about hiding your scars. It's about showing them to help others. He's spoken about the flood of messages he received after his earlier surgeries. People from all over the world, many with the same heart condition, told him that his openness gave them the courage to face their own health challenges. This had a profound impact. He understood his global fame came with a unique responsibility. He could be a powerful force for good simply by being honest. This is the real heart of the story. It's watching a man the world sees as a symbol of impenetrable armor willingly take it off to show the vulnerable person underneath. He's doing it for his village, the community he's built with his Pump Club podcast. "I could have kept it a secret," he acknowledged. But he knew that within his audience, many were fighting their own silent battles. His message became a rallying cry for everyone putting off a doctor's visit out of fear. "I want you to know you aren't alone," he said, his voice filled with empathy. He summed it up with a powerful metaphor that brings it all back to the gym. There are weights that none of us can lift alone. But together we can lift anything. We can lift up the world. You are never alone here. In that moment, the Austrian oak, the man of iron, showed that his greatest strength isn't in his biceps, but in his heart, both the one that's now part machine and the one that beats with profound compassion for others. Arnold's story has always been about transformation, from a boy in a small Austrian village to the world's greatest bodybuilder, from a champion to the highest-paid movie star on the planet, from an action hero to the governor of California, and now he's undergoing his most profound transformation. Yet, from a symbol of invincibility to a beacon of resilience. His recovery has been a masterclass in his own philosophy. Days after surgery, he was attending events. A few weeks later, he was reassuring fans that filming for FUBAR would start on schedule, saying the pacemaker would cause absolutely not a single problem. He even posted a hilarious photo of himself with a fake, oversized pacemaker, complete with a danger high voltage sign, using humor to disarm fear and show he was still the same Arnold. This journey isn't a story of decline, it's a story of adaptation. It's a testament to the power of a positive mindset, the marvels of modern medicine, and the indomitable will of a man who has refused to be defined by his limitations. He has faced down a genetic death sentence, endured multiple life-threatening surgeries, and now he has embraced becoming a little bit more of a machine in order to keep living, keep creating, and keep inspiring. His legacy won't just be his muscles, his movies, or his politics. It will be the powerful lesson that true strength is measured not by the absence of weakness, but by how we confront it. Arnold Schwarzenegger has shown the world that it's okay to have a broken heart, as long as you have the courage to fix it, and the grace to share your story so that others might find the strength to fix theirs, too. He is still the Terminator, But now he's terminating something far more sinister than rogue AI, the stigma and fear that surround our health. And that may be his most heroic battle yet. What did you find most inspiring about Arnold's journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story as moving as we did, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of the world's most fascinating figures. We'll see you in the next one.